What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another 1/6 scale Hot Toys figure unboxing. And if you saw yesterday's video, that was for John Wick 2's John Wick, and this is for John Wick Chapter 4's Caine. And Donny Yens' character from John Wick 4, the blind assassin Caine, who carries a cane, but spells it a little differently. I think he is C-A-I-N-E rather than C-A-N-E. But this is MMS 730, 1/6 scale collectible figure, movie masterpiece series, Hot Toys. It says, Civis Pacem Para Bellum. Oh, Parabellum. So maybe that's maybe that's some type of Latin that they're doing. There's like a clock on the inside with a two little crescent moons with two dueling pistols, which is a thing from the end of the fourth movie, I believe. It also has like a stopwatch. I don't remember Caine's character having a stopwatch, especially because he's blind. Would he be able to read the stopwatch either way? I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe it's like a braille watch. I don't know. Blind people have to be able to tell time too, right? I don't know. Interesting question. Any blind people out there watching this video, how's that work? I don't know. Let me know. But okay, moving back of the box. There's some legal information, store locations, Lionsgate, warnings on the back. Nothing too crazy. It says Caine on the top, Caine on the side. I'm not going to waste any more time for y'all. Let's slide off this slip cover and take our first personal look at the figure. What's he come with? Oh boy. Of course, he comes with his glasses. That Donny Yen head sculpt looks pretty good. He, of course, comes with the coins like all John Wick assassins do. He comes with his cane, which is also doubles as a sword, which is nice. I wonder if that cane has like a sheath. It should, but maybe not. I'm not sure what those are. A couple of guns, dueling pistols, an axe. He's got his glasses, of course. He's got some swap out hands. Yeah, not too much going on. It says the high table on the back there with that same Latin in that symbol there. Hot Toys presents Caine, movie masterpiece 750 or 730. 730 figures they've done in this movie masterpiece series line. That's crazy, but let's pop off the top of this box and pull out this figure. Alright, just popping off the top of this plastic shell here, tossing that over on the side. Instructions down the bottom. Always read the instructions. Make sure you guys know what you're doing and what's fragile on your figures before you end up messing with them. I'll take a closer look at those instructions in a moment, but just to take a closer look and a first impression of this figure in hand, what's he looking like? Ooh, Donny Yen with a little bit of a slick back. Definitely has like some scars over his eyes. Definitely has like a shadowy, foggy eye, kind of like a blind eye would be. Some normal hands, not so bad. He comes with some different hand accessories. He comes with a bunch of accessories. What are these? These are maybe phones or something, or I don't know what these are. I'll have to read the instructions, or maybe even go back and watch John Wick 4. I haven't watched that in a while, and that movie is iconic. And I probably haven't rewatched it because, if you guys know, it feels like an ending, and I don't like when franchises that I love just end when it feels like they could keep going. And you know, it felt like John Wick 4 for a while was like a definitive end, but then I heard a rumor recently that Chad Stahelski and Keanu Reeves have an idea for John Wick 5, and apparently when people see the trailer for this John Wick 5, it will blow people away and make them want to go see it in theaters. And that's all I've heard about it so far. So I'm like, yeah, show me the trailer. I gotta see this John Wick 5, you know? Like, I thought Ballerina was pretty good. The Hot Toys figure they put out doesn't look great, but hey, whatever. Eve Macaro, I did pre-order it, so hopefully it looks better than their prototype. But yeah, not a bad looking figure. Nice looking base here. A lot of accessories. So why don't we pull out all of the accessories out of this box here and lay them out on the desk in front of me and see what John Wick Chapter 4's Caine has to offer. Oh, right, everybody. We got John Wick Chapter 4's Donny Yens Caine in front of us here with all of his accessories laid out. And just starting over here on the right, we have his cane, hence the name, I guess, or, you know, the main weapon he has is his cane. And you can actually separate these two parts so that not necessarily you can use the sword as a sheath, but you can at least have the sword in his hand and feel like this is the sheath part that he can hold in his other hand. You know what I mean? At first I was like, that's dumb. They didn't include a sheath. But no, they did. They just, you know, separate that part there into like the cane and then the cane with the sword. And that actually looks not too bad, but not die cast. Kind of prickly, kind of sharp. So definitely be careful with it. Don't want to poke yourself in the eye with this, but not a bad looking accessory there. And I definitely will be using it. You can actually see like the sword. I don't know what you call that. It's always on like my katanas and Ghost of Yote, but you can see like the weathering, I think is maybe what you'd call it, on the edge of the sword blade there to make it look like a real sword. Very cool. Then he's got a couple of different guns here, you can see, and the slides do go back. And the ammo magazine does come out, and that does have like a painted bullet effect in there, and that looks pretty damn cool. And my fat fingers are struggling with these tiny weapons, but you can see this one here has a bit more of like a maybe chunky, maybe laser dot sight on the front there, but just more of a chunky front. Maybe that's like a weight, but smaller little pistol. I'm sorry, I don't know like the caliber of these pistols and whatnot. I can barely even get the magazines out of the bottom, but all the magazines come back. And all the slides slide backwards, and this is another one, kind of like his Pit Viper is I think what this one's called, because it has the iron sight on the tip of the gun that doesn't slide back with the rest of the slide, which, you know, I think helps with accuracy and being able to remain on target even if this is back. Very cool. And the only reason I really know that is because of the Terran Tactical guy on Instagram. Very cool. Very cool looking pistols, nice little details. And I feel like John Wick comes with a lot of these similar guns as well. But I still need to get the John Wick from John Wick Chapter 4. Oh, and even the little hammer goes back on the back of that there. That's a nice little detail. Golden hammer. That's cool. He also comes with this dueling pistol, which, you know, if you guys know from John Wick Chapter 4, like the final scene where Donny Yen and John Wick have like a little standoff with these dueling pistols. And the dueling pistol does come down, so you can put a bullet in there. Little one-shotter, little musket pistol type of thing. I like that. He also comes with some motion sensors, is what these little things are. I wasn't sure what these are, but I think he like puts these on the wall or something, and then somebody walks by them. It makes a noise so that he can hear it, and then he throws the axe over to hit him or something like that. The first 3 John Wick movies are streaming on HBO Max right now. The 4th one is not, or I would have watched it last night to fully double check my facts, but now I just want to rewatch it, and I might have to go buy it myself because I really do like John Wick 4, and, you know, it's such a badass movie. But nice looking axe as well. I don't necessarily remember that from the film, but I'm sure it gets used to poke somebody's eyes out or chop into their skull or something. Or maybe chop off an arm, who knows. But cool little accessories for Caine. And he comes with 13 hands total. I got 2 on weapons right here, but then he's got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of hands, or 5 pairs of hands with the hands that come on the figure as well. And then he's got one little like kung fu hand, because obviously Donny Yen is a kung fu master, and this kind of reminds me of like a you know, kung fu hand. Maybe he's about to tiger punch him in the jaw or something with his palm. I don't know, but not a bad looking hand. Nice little details and scarring, and every left hand has his wedding ring on the finger, so that's a nice little touch as well. Because a big thing for Caine's character was that he had a daughter that he was trying to protect, so he must have been married at some point to be able to have that kid, right? And he protects her at all costs, but he still is on John Wick's side at the end of the day, and, you know, against the high table. Fuck him. Who's that in that film? Friggin' Bill Skarsgård. But now just to take an up close and personal look at Caine himself. So that Donny Yen head sculpt looks awesome, and you can see his eye injuries that made him blind in the first place, and like his swooped back hair, and like the head sculpt itself does look really good, does look like Donny Yen to me from every angle. And this is like a John Wick 4 head sculpt, so this is like a fairly new figure, not like my John Wick 2 unboxing that came out yesterday, where that's an older figure. Still captures John Wick quite well, but there's newer figures that have come out that look so much more like Keanu Reeves. But I still really do like the way that that figure looks, but compared to something newer like this, I think Caine obviously is the better of the two figures. And he also comes with some extra accessories, comes with like his glasses that you can slide on, and those look awesome as well. You just got to make sure that they tuck behind his ears, because you don't want it to look dumb or sideways or off to one side, but those fit on pretty seamlessly. And then of course he comes with some gold coins like all John Wick figures do, and I like that those get thrown in as accessories because they make sense. Got to have your gold coins if you're going to be an assassin under the high table, right? This is like the only currency in this world. This is all that's good. Your actual cash doesn't mean anything to them, but these gold coins, highly valuable. But just looking at the base, comes with a nice little crotch grabber and this highly detailed base, a little bit more of a grippy material on this side, but then a smooth, shiny top with the John Wick Chapter 4 on the top, Caine on the front. But you can see a little bit of that, what is that, like a coin or just like the symbol of the high table, like the skull in the middle, the crown up top. Just an interesting little base, and then it looks like there's like bullet holes all over it, maybe some bullets flying. Yeah, decent, interesting little base. I like how detailed that is. Even the John Wick Chapter 2 base, is highly detailed as well. And the same type of logo with the skull in the middle and the crown up top. Very cool. Love the bases, how simple they are. The hexagon with just a crotch grabber. That's all you really need. You don't need waist grabbers or flight poles. This is perfect. This is all I'm looking for when I get a figure, and I think this is going to display quite nicely. But now that we've taken a look at Donny Yen's Caine, why don't we toss this bad boy into some poses and see what he is capable of? All right, everybody, we have Donny Yen's Caine from John Wick Chapter 4 spinning around on the turntable for us here, just standing straight up and down, just as he comes fresh out of the box. But I have his glasses on and his cane in one hand. And then I have him using that cane as like a backing for like a tactical stance with the pistol on top, like he's rounding corners. Even though this guy can't see, so he's using all of his other senses to kill bad guys. Caine then uses his sword that he pulls out of his cane, and he's in a bit of a fencing pose, like he's about to say "on guard" to somebody before he slices and dices them. But like I mentioned, he is blind, so in this pose, he kinda is using the motion sensor triggers that triggers his reaction with the gun off to one side, like he's about to shoot somebody that just triggered that sensor, and he's got the axe in the other hand in case he misses. And then I have Caine in a kung fu stance throwing a kick at John Wick from John Wick Chapter 2 is that figure. And I know those aren't both the same figures from Chapter 4, but I have yet to get my John Wick Chapter 4 from Hot Toys. So maybe in the future I'll be able to toss those two figures next to each other. But for a bit of a side-by-side comparison, I at least wanted to put a John Wick next to this Caine character from the John Wick movies. And then in his final pose that I have him in here, I have him with the dueling pistol from John Wick Chapter 4 from the end of the film. And he's got the motion sensors on the base, the axe, a couple of guns. He's got his cane leaning up on the stand behind him. And he's got a bunch of those coins from the assassins, from the high table in the underworld. And those coins are very valuable, so of course he comes with a stack or two of those and a couple of loose coins. But Donny Yen is a beast and just a kung fu legend, and to see him do yet another blind character that kicks ass with mostly kung fu is just, funny that it happened at least twice, like, at least for me, from Star Wars Rogue One and John Wick Chapter 4. But hell, isn't Ip Man also blind? I haven't seen Ip Man, but I heard Donnie Yen absolutely crushes it in those movies. But about once a year, I get into this mindset of like, I want to go back and watch all these Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, and all these Hong Kong cinema action films. And, if you guys have any recommendations, please drop those down in the comment section below. But as far as this figure goes, I think he looks really good. I do like his, like, white turtleneck underneath. It just kind of, like, simple but classy in his suit. And, the articulation's pretty good on this figure, so you can still get him into some decent poses. But I think he just looks cool as hell with those glasses and his slicked back hair. And the amount of weapons he comes with is cool as well. But I think what we should do now is toss this bad boy on the shelf and see what his new home's going to be looking like next to the other John Wick character, and see what shelf I'm going to place him on here in the collection. All right, everybody. So we have just unboxed Donny Yens, Caine, and John Wick this weekend. So these two are getting added to the shelves. But I also wanted just to mention that I did get a figure that I did not unbox on the channel, and that is DX42, because I had already gotten the 43 Artisan Edition. And I think that figure does look better, but it's really just the head sculpt because everything else is the same. So now for this big ass display base, I now have two of these Jokers standing here, one with the sculpted head sculpt and one with the Artisan rooted hair. So yeah, that's not looking bad over there. Just figured I'd toss this in to add to this video. And as I was just about to, take this clip for Donnie Yen up here, I'm about to friggin' put Caine on the shelf. Friggin' I dropped this phone stand, and it hit the Daily Bugle and absolutely shattered the top floor. So I just spent like the last hour and a half putting that back together just so it could be there. And boy, oh boy, did that piss me off. Like, my blood pressure has spiked. I am sweating, and it's not because of anything strenuous. It's just the anger inside of me. It's just, oh God. And I love Legos, but putting them back together when you accidentally break them, oh my God, what a pain in the ass. Especially when you have all this minifigs and all types of shit all around it like I do. That was a hassle. Don't recommend. But if you missed last week's figure unboxings, that was for So-So Toys Patch, aka the casino agent from So-So Toys, but Patch Wolverine. And I also did 1973 Wolverine from X-Men Days of Future Past. But that is a nice looking Deadpool Wolverine shelf that should be expanding in the future, I hope. But I think I have a very, very special figure that should be arriving maybe today. So next week's video, stay tuned, y'all. If you can guess by what I'm doing here, what next week's figure might be, stay tuned. Oh, I'm so excited for that figure. But this is a work in progress, this collection tour, but I'm very happy now that I've added some other movie characters that aren't just Marvel and DC, and I got some John Wick universe characters over here, plus Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider just fills that gap in the middle there perfectly, and I really like how that looks. But Donnie Yen is a great looking figure, and so is that John Wick Chapter 2 figure. If you missed that unboxing, that came out yesterday, so go check that out if you haven't. Very cool figure. Older figure, because that head sculpt is not the best Keanu Reeves head sculpt that they have created to date. But for what this figure was back when John Wick Chapter 2 came out, it still looks pretty damn good. I love the blood dripping down and stuff like that. But Donnie Yen looks so cool with that white turtleneck, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, but that white turtleneck, the glasses, the dueling pistol, like he's loading that up to go shoot John Wick. Very cool. And his accessories, got an axe, a couple motion sensors, a couple guns, some coins, his cane sitting down by his base, and John Wick's got a whole bunch of accessories as well. But yeah, not bad figures. Now this just makes me want to go watch John Wick Chapter 4 and to get the John Wick Chapter 4 figure. But I've already pre-ordered some of the Artisan Edition ones that will be coming out next year, I think, or later this year. And I also got the Eve Macaro from Ballerina. So that one's a controversial figure, so we'll definitely be talking about that when we unbox that figure on the channel. But stay tuned, y'all, for more figure unboxings every weekend all year round. Maybe I'll toss in a top 5 video or like a collection tour video, but for the most part, 2 figures getting unboxed all year long. Every weekend, 2 figures, so stay tuned for that, y'all. Once again, my name's Big Cam, 2 G's in the Big, pretty much anywhere, and you can find me. Just look for my face on all my other social media platforms, but the links for those are down in the description below. And if you made it this far into the video and you would like to support the channel, the best way of doing that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss future Hot Toys figure unboxings and you get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name's Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I will see you beautiful people in the next unboxing video. Peace.